Real show, here we go. Real show, here we go. You know that it's gotta be that time, so this is what we chant. What keeps on getting them all amped in advance? Come on. You and I rocking out with Iron Man, F.E. You get the general's point of view on top of Roger's rants. We're never tapping out, we're putting the most minutes in. You already know what that's about, you know that winners win. Crush whatever's on task, check the podcast. It's the champ and the tramp, let the bomb blast.
What's up, guys? We're back. I believe this is episode 33. Frankie and I are lucky to have the man, the myth, and the legend, Lugal, here today.
Or like we say in Jersey, Churdy Tree.
Churdy Tree.
Churdy Tree.
Churdy Tree. And Lou's here. And what Lou is doing today, normally he's running all the behind-the-scenes stuff, but Lou is sitting on the couch today, and he's going to ask us some fan questions. We put it out there to you guys. You can ask us whatever you want. We put it on our Instagrams. And what do we got today, Lou? What do we got? What do we got for questions?
Couple questions with the answer.
Yeah, answers
Oh,
with the
shit.
answer.
That's a good one. I'm going to put that.
It's a little segment, little segment.
What got Frankie into fighting in the first place? Anything in his background in martial arts?
I mean, I just grew up wrestling and scrapping on the Jersey Shore boardwalk, you know? But, yeah, I mean, I was just into fighting always. As a kid, I remember being like 5 years old. This is no bullshit. No lie. In my neighborhood, I grew up across Vaughan. And, like, my cousin would make me fight other kids in the neighborhood. And he would corner me, and then, like, his friend would corner the other guy. Like, literally.
Brian.
Like, Brian, yeah. And
Fucking
Andy, his boy, would corner the other guy. And I remember I would literally fight, like, new kid came in the neighborhood. My cousin was like, you got to fight him. I'm like, all right, let's go. Do it. And I remember as a kid, I wouldn't want to hit anybody in the face. Yeah. So I'd fucking blast people in the stomach all the time. Wow! Fucking knocking people's wind out. But I just knew how to fight even before I trained, even before
my
wrestling.
son is 4, my daughter is 5, so I should start them now fighting?
Yeah. I swear, no, I'm not lying.
What didn't you start early? Fucking at 13, fighting at 4.
Hey, I'm a man beyond my years. And I remember my best friend at the time, this kid Ryan. We always fought. He was kind of a little bigger and chubby. Like, he would get me, he got on top of me, I'd be like, fuck, he got on top of me, you know. But one time, we're fighting, and we always fought just to look cool in front of the older kids. And we're fighting, and I remember, I don't know, if my cousin, someone was like, knee. I fucking kneed him right in the face, knocked his teeth out. They were baby teeth.
Oh,
but I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, man, my bad.
Fight into marriage. Roger, do you ever think you'll get remarried? Honest answer.
Do I think I will get listen, I'm the king of saying this. I never say never about anything, but I think it's highly, highly unlikely.
Why so?
I don't know, man.
Are you like, you just like...
I think I failed at it, you know? Like, I give it my best shot.
I don't think
failed at
it takes two people for a marriage to work, so you can't say you failed at it.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not the one that threw in the hat, but still, I contributed to the failure of it, and that was a tough time in my life, but I never want to be one of those, you know, like born again Christians that get married 27 times. I don't want to be that guy. You know, I give my best effort at it.
But like you said, you get married because you fall in love with someone. You know, you can't anticipate
I didn't say
right?
I didn't say I wouldn't fall in love, but you know,
yeah, but I mean,
possible.
Most likely that's how
marriage
it works.
is just really complicated. You know, the separation of two adults happens, right? I mean, the hardest thing for me was the kid factor. In that, I really tried to save my family. But, you know, adults oftentimes go separate ways and they fall out of love. So that wasn't the hardest battle for me. It was the kid factor in there. Like, you're fighting for something bigger than just a relationship. You know what I mean? So, but the marriage part of it, the paperwork, is what took the longest to get the divorce over with. Once you have that, you know, that paperwork, you know, that's an actual, it's like a contract, you know. So.
But do you think you're just fucking like damaged goods right now? Is that why?
No, I think I worked real hard in the last year on myself to.
No. I mean, maybe that was the right word. Like, I mean, do you just think you're scarred from the previous experience with marriage, and that's why you're saying this?
I think that I gave it my best effort, and I failed at it, and I don't know that I want to do that again.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. You know, I mean,
the funny part is, and Lou, who's been my best friend for 20 years, can attest with this. I did not want to get married the first time. I really didn't. And I'm not saying that, you know, I'm not trying to stir up any shit here or anything, but, you know, I thought we had a lot to work on before we took that step to get married. And I understand her point of view, too. We were together like 5 years at that point and had a daughter, so I get it from that perspective, too. But I'm not a non-believer in marriage. and I'm not, I guess, a firm believer in it. I don't know really where I stand on marriage. I know that I gave it my best effort, and it didn't work out.
Now, your parents got divorced.
My parents are divorced after
And
25 years
Your
of marriage.
mom got remarried?
Both parents.
Both parents.
Yep.
So, yeah, you can never say never.
My parents, the people they're with now, and my parents were married for 25 years. The people they're with now,
Are the people supposed to be with?
they've been with longer than they were married.
Wow.
This is the crazy part, yeah.
I mean, I come from divorced parents, you know, so, I mean, my wife's dad was married 3 times. Her mother was married 3 times. Sometimes it may take more than one.
Well, yeah.
I had fun at your wedding, so if you have another one, well, I'll look forward to it.
Point of view on locking down the U.S. for 14 days, like martial law. What do you guys think?
What do you mean? Like
due to COVID-19,
like if they do that?
If martial law happens, yeah.
Martial, like for COVID?
Just, I guess, martial law for this, yeah.
I mean, listen,
I think it's
I
completely
think it's kind of past the
totally fucking unnecessary.
No, I think, listen, I think this. Like, the reason we didn't do well with this whole COVID is because when we locked down, it was like, oh, you're locked down, but, oh, you could go to Home Depot, you can go to Rita's, you could go to the fucking alcohol store, you go to the weed store. Mm-hmm. If we did, I think, what, like, maybe, I don't know, if New Zealand, now granted, we're a different animal because we have a lot bigger population, but if we say we close down for 2 weeks, 100%, maybe even 6 weeks, 100%, and we somehow figured a way to feed people, let people not pay their bills, not pay their mortgage, all that stuff, we would be out of this. That's what I do think. I mean, it's obviously a lot harder said than done.
It's like stripping people of constitutional rights, though.
I know, but if say this was like a real, again, there's so so much information out there. We don't know what's real, what's not. But say this was a fucking super bad pandemic, like a real something that killed 50% of people, and if we did that and it just went away, we'd be past it. 6 weeks. Now, how many months are we in now?
I think that is totally an improbability to actually happen, though. You're saying, like, in a guaranteed situation, which you can't, lock people down for 2 weeks, can't go anywhere, help them out with their bills or taxes or whatever.
Why can't
sure
you?
they give, no,
I think in other countries
No, I'm saying is that's a possibility. I think it has to be voluntary in the United States because we have a constitution. But let's say you're guaranteeing that goes away. I don't think that's a guarantee. I don't think there's any assurity that a 14-day mandatory.
I don't know about 14. Maybe it's 6 weeks, I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
But, doing it with, like, dude, these lockdowns are bullshit.
Right.
The lockdowns are bullshit. When you have half the people that are still going to work, still doing this, and half the people aren't. So, like, that's not even a lockdown.
Right. But, so the numbers, though, if you talked about the numbers, they estimate roughly 500,000 people have died worldwide, right, from COVID-19. Mm-hmm. Estimate. I think those numbers are greatly inflated because, you hear crazy
car
things
accidents, they label as
right,
COVID.
Exactly.
Right.
I think those are highly inflated. But let's say that's a top number. And you wanted to lock down the United States, 300 million people, 320 million people, right?
I'm not
for let's just say a month. I think that crime is going to go through the roof. I think there's going to be crazy amounts of domestic violence is going to be. I think it's just going to go through the roof.
I mean, there's definitely give and take.
If you look at those numbers, is it worth it? And I'm not saying that a life isn't worth it, but that's a bad flu.
Granted,
it's a bad flu. Those numbers are a bad flu.
I do kind of agree.
You don't
with
you don't lock down 320 million people.
No,
for a flu.
I know. I'm just saying. Say it was a fucking like a movie, where half the world dies because of it.
Well, we could have that conversation if that happened, yeah. And I think then maybe that, yeah. But
all right. Let's go back to UFC. I think that's interesting. Frankie, will you keep your weight at 135? And where do you see yourself with the next fight?
Yeah, I'm gonna stay at 135. This weight cut has been, I don't want to say it's easy. I still have about 10, 12 pounds to go, but it's been easy to get to where I am. I feel good. This is I feel probably the best I've felt in a camp as far as my conditioning. Just never wake up where my stomach's jacked up because I ate something I shouldn't have ate. You know what I mean? I just feel very healthy. And I probably, in all reality, I probably should have been a 35 my whole career. I'm glad that I didn't do that because, cutting weight wasn't my thing. I just wanted to be the toughest guy in the world.
The world would not have got to see those great Maynard fights too.
And really, when I first got to UFC, 55 was the only.
Right, true.
Actually, when I first started training, they didn't even have 55 in UFC.
The question's going to come up. I'm sure a fan's going to ask it. You got two teammates at the 135 you know, in the 135 bantamweight class now too, which, you know, I've asked it once before, but what if you get pitted against one of those guys?
To me,
you're talking Cody and Marlon, right?
Marlon, yeah.
At the stage I am in my career, I don't need to fight those guys.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Oh.
True. Let's go totally off subject. Roger, favorite porn star and category.
Ooh.
Oh God.
What's his name?
Favorite.
What's his name?
I knew that was coming. I love porn. There's so many. I don't know. This week I love MILF porn, so I'll go with Lisa Ann.
Lisa Ann, bro. She's old school, right?
Yeah, MILF
Damn,
porn,
of
man.
course,
MILF
of
porn.
course, old school. It's just fucking what he used to jerk off to in high school.
Category?
Oh, category.
Oh, MILF. You said MILF.
MILF porn. You know that's the number one. I think.
Yeah,
I believe in
it's
the
up
world,
there,
right?
yeah,
What?
Yeah, MILF.
I'm not into the little small booby, little whatever, you know, fetish teen shit. I'm not into.
No,
that.
I mean that's like creepy, right?
Yeah, I'm not
It's
into
a little creepy.
that.
I'm
Spinners or whatever they call them. Spinners.
Spinners.
So they call them.
Yeah.
Tiny little porn stars are called spinners. Yeah.
I
And
like
you know what cuckold porn is? That's the hardcore
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
right
hardcore
up your
stuff.
alley.
That's when you have dudes come over and fuck your wife, and then
That's crazy.
yeah, that's crazy.
What are pogs? What, fat ass white girls?
Pogs are fat ass white girls. Pog porn. You
Pog
don't know?
porn, yeah.
PAWG. Pog porn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Lou, you not into porn?
I mean,
Who's not into
listen,
porn? Stop
when
it.
I go to Pornhub.com, it's just whatever pops up first. I'm trying to get into, and that's it.
Whatever.
It's got to be hardcore shit for me. I'm into like hardcore.
And hardcore, like wants to get slam her head on the ground.
No,
fucking
just like
ass to mouth.
yeah, just
That's
like,
you're into?
just like
Yeah. You want to spit in their
like,
mouth?
No, well, yeah. I mean, no, I don't know about that, but just like
No, head over the fucking head with a fucking
you know how you
wrench.
used to tune in into porn and it would be like role playing, like the guy come. I'm not into that shit. Just fucking kick the door down, rip the fucking panties off, and
You know, I
Yeah.
have a friend that's. Did I ever tell you this story?
Yeah.
Is in the porn industry. Have we talked about it on
guy
this
you
thing?
wrestled with or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's pretty funny. He won a reality show.
And you used to say he was the favorite guy to wrestle. You-
Yeah, yeah. He was okay at wrestling. What do you got for us, Lou?
Oh, yeah, a lot of them are.
I just remember I banged a porn star, but I can't say her name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, before she did porn.
Before she did porn.
Yeah.
Guess you weren't enough. You weren't cutting for her, huh?
I'll tell you after the show. You can Google it. My girlfriend would kill me if I said it.
I don't know, but would you have like the type of person she was? Would you have
Oh,
expected her
fuck
to end
yeah.
up where she is?
She looked like a porn star. She fucked like a porn star. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Oh.
I would have totally thought she was a porn star.
She screaming loud.
There's a lot to that story. I can't tell some of it on air, but actually, Lou filmed a porn, and I just remembered Lou filmed me in a porn. I just remembered that.
You were in a porn?
Yes, Lou filmed it.
Was this the cuckold porn you're talking about?
I just remembered that. That was in Miami.
Yeah, Daytona.
Daytona.
Did
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
this person know you were being filmed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a room full of people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Room full of people. I think we told the story.
Yeah.
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 Okay. All right.
Back to UFC. I guess it's UFC. Dake versus Burrows.
No, this is wrestling, amateur wrestling.
Oh, amateur wrestling.
Yeah. Dake versus Burrows. I mean, you know, Burrows is a Jersey guy. He's I think he's a 2-time state champ, 2-time national champ. He won the Olympics, won the Worlds twice, I believe. He took like a second and third in the Olympics and the Worlds also. He's a stud. Him and Dake wrestled quite a few times, and Burrows always would beat him. But now Dake's coming on very strong. Dake won up a weight class. They both, I think Dake won the Worlds last year, the World Championships last year, and I don't think he got a point scored on him. So this is gonna be a good match. I gotta go with the Jersey guy, but it's gonna be a phenomenal match.
When's that going down?
They're gonna, because in the world, during the Worlds there's more weight classes. I think there's 10 weight classes during the Worlds. During the Olympics there's only like 5. So in other words, these weight classes have to condense. So now they're gonna have to be in the same weight class.
Didn't wrestling get booted out of the Olympics a while ago?
They tried to, but they got reinstated.
Okay.
Yeah. So for 2021, it was supposed to happen this summer. Actually, they would have wrestled, I think, in June for the spot, and I think the Olympics would have been in September, maybe August, September, and yeah, I was really looking forward to that match. But I'll go with Burrows just because he's a Jersey guy, but I can see that going either way.
Well, I'll keep it at college wrestling. What was the hardest thing about college wrestling?
think the hardest thing about college wrestling is just juggling everything. You know, you're a full-time student, and wrestling is a full-time job. Division I wrestling is a full-time job, man. You have to make weight multiple times a week, practice multiple times a day, and carry a full class load.
Do they give you like a tutor to help you?
They kind of. I never did. I mean, I went to school to wrestle. Yeah. I didn't go to school for school. You know, whatever. It worked out for me because obviously I'm an athlete. But you know, it's just juggling everything, and that's like that. That's what I would say. Like, what is college? College doesn't teach you shit, but it teaches you how to prioritize things and teaches you how to just juggle everything and get shit done when you're under the gun.
My 6-year-old son has recently been showing tons of interest in MMA and wrestling. What training classes would you recommend to get him started?
Get him in a wrestling class.
Wrestling, right?
Yeah, absolutely. My kids were wrestling them at, you know, Santino and Francesco wrestled at a very, very young age. Frankie kind of veered off of it from now. He's doing baseball. Santino's, you know, definitely all the way in. But Santino had his first match. I think he might have been 4 or 5. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
My kid's 4. My son's 4. I should get him in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring him by. When you know all this shit stops.
Yeah.
All right, Roger.
Yeah.
Would you consider getting a reverse vasectomy if your girlfriend or future wife wanted kids?
Ooh.
Because of my age now.
Okay.
I'm 45 years old,
he shoots dust out that bitch.
I'd be fucking 80. Honestly, when I signed up to get a vasectomy, I researched that. I was like, what happens to you?
I just can't do it, man. I just can't do it. I'm fucking just, you know, I'm playing with a loaded gun, bro.
Yeah. Well, you're going to have another kid running around. I knew, well, I mean, I was married when I got a vasectomy, but I knew we did not want to have any more kids, and that holds true to today. I don't want, listen, man, my kids just got out of diapers. I don't want to start over. You know what I mean?
Does it mess with your testosterone levels?
I didn't notice anything.
Well, you wouldn't. Fuck.
I definitely didn't notice anything. There's literally no difference other than you're shooting blanks. You know, everything's the same.
No swimmers, right?
Yeah.
How did Frankie and Renee meet?
In kindergarten. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, me and Renee were in the same kindergarten class. But I knew her, I guess.
You were in every class?
No.
First grade, second grade, third grade?
No. We were in first grade. We were in kindergarten together. And then I moved across town. Then I moved back. And then, I'd known her throughout my whole life. But then my freshman year in high school, we started hanging. We were just mutual friends. We hung out a lot. High school became like super tight. She was like, one of my best friends. And then my senior year in college is when we started dating. But I mean, I used to.
You guys were in high school just friends.
Friends. I used to sleep at Renee's house, and I would tell her like, "Yo, tell this girl to sleep over." And this girl sleep over, and
she was your wingman.
She was.
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I mean, I knew you guys knew each other way back, but I didn't know that you guys like. Did she friend zone you?
No. Friend zone me. But then, yeah.
So what was like your first date? Where'd you take her? Dinner, movie?
No. I'll tell you what happened. We were hanging out like after my freshman year in college. I come home, and that summer we were hanging out like a lot, like tight. We were tight. And you could tell there was definitely some chemistry going on. And I went back up to school for for summer training, whatever. And she hits me up one night. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm not. Come up here." She's like, "All right, I'm coming up." I'm like, "You're gonna 6 hours away." I'm like, "You're gonna fucking drive here?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm coming right now." I'm like, "All right." So then she comes. I meet her at the gas station like at 6 a.m. She drove all the way through the night. And then, brought her back to the crib, and you know what I mean? The rest is history.
You guys wrestled?
Yeah, we showed her some fucking, check the oil.
Check the oil. You pretty much answered this already, but it's, I guess you want to recap it. I know you won't fight Marlon, but if it came down to it, would you fight Cody? But I think you clearly said that you wouldn't. You don't need to fight either of them.
Yeah, I don't need to fight either of them, man. When you train with someone, I'm the type of person you train with someone, and I share everything with them, and it's not something I'm looking to do. That's all.
The next one's Uriah. Would you call him out? Is that possible?
You beat him once.
I beat him already.
Yeah.
Would I fight him again? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, right now I'm worried about this guy I'm fighting, so that's all I'm thinking about. But yeah, I mean, I'd pretty much fight anybody except people that I train with.
I just watched his latest fight against
Pete Dion.
Yeah.
He's fighting Aldo.
I just watched that tonight. Yeah. How do you pick that? How do you pick to win? He's strong, bro.
Yeah, he's very good boxing.
Yeah.
never
very composed. I know.
You know, I think Aldo. You just never know what you're getting with Aldo. He always talks about retiring and not. He went down to 35. Yeah, he went down to 35. It's crazy. A lot more crazier than me going down to 35 because he's a pretty big dude. And he fought Marlon and lost, although he got a title shot off of it afterwards. Dana said he thought Aldo won. I thought Marlon won. Obviously, I'm a little biased maybe because it's my boy, but I'm picking Yan. But again, I won't be surprised if Aldo gets it done because he's done so much in his career. Yeah. I just think Peter Yan has the boxing and the pace to get it done.
It's question to Roger, but I guess it could be both of you guys. Who's your favorite fighter of all time?
I've answered this a bunch of times. Dan Henderson is always going to be Frankie obviously, but Dan Henderson is I love that H-ball, man. I just like how he composes himself, how he does that smirk. He never gets emotionally invested. His stare downs are good. When he's just like the fucking man. I just like that guy.
I don't know. It's tough. I admire so many guys in the sport. But George is someone I always looked up to. I got to train alongside him quite a few times. He was just a consummate professional. He did it the right way, everything the right way. He was a classy guy, and to me, he's my GOAT. Although you got Jones, you got Anderson Silva, you got Mighty Mouse. Those guys are all on that list as well. But I know George personally, so I'll say George.
Good pick.
Questions.
Which one are you on?
Frankie is shredded.
Thanks, man. Thanks, buddy. I did it. Ollie's like, send me a picture with your shirt. I'm like, all right. And then he posted it. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And then people are like, oh, he looks like he's struggling. Like, motherfucker, you should see my dinner, bitch. I ain't struggling. I ain't struggling.
I just watched you eat it.
Yeah.
You clean, bro.
You clean, brah.
Jenny and Danielle's relationship.
Is there one?
Yeah, to some degree. Cordial. Yeah, I'm trying to think.
This is a personal question.
Yeah. No, you can ask me anything.
And Bob too. Thank you.
Huh?
And Bob too. Thank you.
And Bob too. Is that the person that sent it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have they met? Yeah. The first time they met was dropping the kids off one time. Danielle was in the car, and Milani actually came out. I dropped them off a bunch with Danielle, and she just always stayed in the car. And I guess I was not apprehensive for them to meet, but I thought that I should really know where our relationship was going before they, needed to meet. Jenny moved on with her relationship very quickly. I didn't move on that quickly, so I dropped them off a bunch of times. Well, this one time I dropped them off. Milani, Grayson and Milani both are pretty tight with Danielle. Milani came running back to the car and said, Danielle, I want you to meet my mommy. So she kind of looked at me and I said, yeah, now's as good time as any. So we walked up to the door and, I did the cordials. And then shortly after that was Grayson's birthday party, which was in the middle of COVID, May 5th. And Jenny invited us up, and Jenny, me, the kids, and Zach hung out in the backyard. So yeah, it was
family.
It was good. Yeah,
it's like the Partridge Family.
Yeah. Me and
when kids are involved, man, that's the best way to do it.
Right, exactly. So, and now it's just kind of like when the drop off happens, they see each other often. And it's like, hey, how are you? How's it going? I always wave to Zach like, what's up, bud? There's no hate there.
Hey, Zach.
I got nothing against that guy.
He seems like
he's
been around before.
He doesn't. Cool. I've never really seen him open up and talk. He's kind of quiet.
I'm sure it's a little awkward, right?
Probably. I don't know. But
how about Danielle? You think she's a little more reserved around them just because of the situation?
I don't think I would describe her as being herself, but I think she's fairly talkative. But
You guys are elected president and vice president. Who's running the show? Who's the vice?
Ooh.
Is Frankie getting Roger coffee for 48 years?
I'm gonna kiss his ass and then take away from him. He definitely has more leadership skills. Just look at what he's done with his life. So he's definitely got. I think
you got the height for the president.
He's got more leadership skills. But I think that I'm more decisive in my points of view, where Frankie's like right in the fucking middle.
I think you're more articulate as well.
I don't know about that, but I think that I know what I am. I'm a constitutionalist. You know what I mean? And
he's a constitutionalist. Yeah. I got the looks. I'll give you the. I'll give you the decisiveness.
Has the podcast
Edgar Matthews?
Yeah,
Matthews
baby.
Edgar
Running soon.
2024.
Has doing the podcast changed your outlook on certain topics or points of view?
I would definitely say my perspective and the way I'm sort of forced. Normally, I'd blow off a lot of conversations that have happened down here, like, get the fuck out of here and walk away. I'm sort of forced to hear them, and a lot of these conspiracy theories, I'll call them, ones have really opened my eyes. They really have. Now, I'm not saying that I believe them, but they've opened my eyes to they're possible. The possibility is there that some of this kind of crazy, outlandish stuff, like the deep state or the Q or things like that could very well be possible. I should say plausible.
Yeah, I think I'm an open-minded person to begin with. Yeah. But yeah, I think it definitely gives you a lot of different perspective. But I'm never one to draw a line in the sand on anything, just because I think anything could be real or anything could be fake. But I love doing this just because you get to see other people's points and what they imagine is real or not.
I think probably the best way to describe us is we're both humanitarians. We care about people. Doesn't matter what color.
I don't give a fuck about people. No.
Doesn't matter what color, what race you are. We sort of have our own personal beliefs, but sitting down here in the podcast room with a diverse group of guests and hearing their stories, especially their personal stories, certainly opens your eyes a bit. Yeah. I noticed Frankie had a lot of questions under his. If you go to his,
I did go to Frankie's.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Did you see all people, or did you actually read the questions?
No, I just saw. It was a lot of
most
fighting
of them
questions.
are goat. Most of them are
cuckold.
Any stories about sneaking in or out of your house as a kid?
Well,
the main one.
I mean, yeah, I did sneak out of my house to snap some cheeks.
Yeah.
I remember Dulcie. You know Frankie Dulcie?
Yeah.
We used to sneak out of his window all the time. Yeah. All the time.
I lived in a log cabin in Maine. I used to jump out of the upstairs window and I could climb the logs to get back in. So I'd jump out of the upstairs window. My friend would pick me up down the street and we'd go out, have a couple beers somewhere or whatever. But when I was in high school, actually when I was in grammar school.
Man, yeah, I remember sneaking into someone's house in 6th grade.
Yeah. Going
out and actually, yeah, I remember sneaking into someone's and I was in 6th grade and you're like, this is before I got tainted, I guess you could say. And I remember hanging out with these girls and stuff, and they had some older kids come in and they're fucking smoking weed, and I was like, oh my, fuck, man, the fuck. And then that next year I'm fucking chiefing.
I got a good story about the first time I smoked weed. My buddy Willard Bailey in Maine smoked weed like a fucking champion. He was always trying to get me to smoke with him, and I just thought it was taboo. It was kind of like how I was raised. My dad was like, it's a drug. I don't even look at it that way at all now, but I was like, scared of it basically. And I got in the car with him one time. We were going to a concert all the way down. I think it was in Portland or Augusta. And we were going to a concert. He's like, come on, bro, you got to blaze up. I forget. I think we were going to see Aerosmith maybe. I forget. And I was like, all right, fuck it. We're going to a concert. Everybody's going to be. So I remember toking this thing in the back of the car, and I got so paranoid. I kept saying, dude, it was the first time I ever got high, and I guess I got too high. I don't know. But I was convinced my throat was closing up and that I couldn't breathe. And I kept saying, just take me to the hospital. Just take me to the hospital. He's like, you fucking clown. I'm not taking you to the hospital. We're going to a concert. I'm like, I can't breathe.
A gun. Yeah.
It was just paranoia. I just got paranoid, That's all it was.
I actually, speaking of throat, I did what's it called? Kamba? The frog venom?
Never heard of it. What,
yeah,
the Amazon rainforest frogs?
Yes.
No way. Those little
did it like couple years ago.
The
Dude,
oil and shit?
Fucked me up.
That's a hallucinogen, right?
No. What it does is it purges your lymphatic system. So, I done it. My wife. You there's like retreats you can get this done, but I know someone that can get it. And Kamba, I believe it's called. And so I've seen my wife do it a couple times. I was with her.
How do you know what you? That shit is not regulated.
Yeah, I trust the person that I got it from.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And they got it from the rainforest and everything.
Yeah.
And what they do is you get like a piece of so the frog that it's on. They take the piece of the stem that they got the frog on. You take the stem, they light it, and they put burn holes into your skin, like through maybe the first or second layer. And I see my wife do it, and she didn't throw up at all. She didn't get sick at all. And she's like, "Oh, I felt, it's supposedly it drains your lymphatic system and supposedly gets rid of bad stuff and this and that, like anything, like if you have sickness or rashes or stuff. Supposedly it's really good for you. So I seen her do it. She didn't get sick at all. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll try it. So I go down and me and her, I'm there. I try it. I got 4 little holes on my back, and then they put this it looks like wax or I don't know,
they like pinprick you.
Boom, 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 4 of them right on my upper back, and they put this it looks like like a cream almost on each one. And dude, it started hitting me, and my whole face swelled up. My lips got huge. My throat started closing up. Dude, I was throwing up for a...
Wait, now is this in your head or your lips actually getting huge?
No, dude, I will show you a fucking picture of it later. I was throwing up so bad. And I'm just trying, I'm trying to be fucking Mr. Tough Guy. And I wasn't even thinking, what if I don't fucking breathe? I was talking like this because my fucking throat was closing up. I'm like, dude, I should have had an EpiPen with me or something. God forbid.
What is enjoyable about this? You just had a bad reaction.
No.
Renee was having a good reaction.
No, but I didn't have a bad... the reaction I had, that's what people say. They say it almost turns you into the frog. Dude, I looked fucking like I aged fucking...
Why would I want to do that?
Because it supposedly it cleans your lymphatic system. You know what I mean? It purges you. It gets rid of all bad stuff. Like I said, bro, I did IOI. I'm into trying shit, right? And dude, I was fucking throwing up like a maniac.
I'm into trying
for good
like the
good
DMT,
20 minutes
to expand my mind and go into a different realm. Is that supposed to have that effect on you?
No. You are in pain. You're in pain.
I do not want to try that at all.
Yeah, but I thought it could help me with I don't know what it helped me with, just whatever, They say if you have I don't even know why.
Lyme disease or something like that?
Yeah, Lyme's, sickness, herpes, you got herpes. If you get cold sores, it could help get rid of that stuff.
Guy was not in here for 3 months because he had the gout, and you're just telling him about that now? Could have cured his gout.
But I only did it once. My wife did it 3 or 4 times, but she didn't even get sick. I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah.
She's gangster.
I didn't have the gout, by the way. No gout.
It was just bad, small shoes.
Didn't know how to buy the right size boots.
Frankie, did you enjoy working as a plumber? And would you do it again?
Did I enjoy working as a plumber? At the time, no, I didn't. I'll be honest. I wasn't into it. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to do what I'm doing now. I was doing that while I was doing that. When I graduated college, I was a hustler. I knew I wanted to be a successful person. So I knew that I literally, a lot of kids, they graduate college, they take the summer to fucking enjoy themselves. I graduated on Thursday. On Monday, I was at work, and, I was working. My dad owned a plumbing company. I had to be, I know all the fucking guys were pointing at me, so I made sure I got to work earlier than everybody, tried working hard, but my mind was never at work, I never
How
really.
long did you actually do that for?
I did till my 3rd fight in the UFC.
Oh, wow.
That's an odd thing. I hear all these fighters I don't make any money, or da-da-da. I'm like, yo, I fucking worked a full-time job till I knew I could take care of myself.
Stipe Miocic gets a lot of respect for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Although that's a pretty good gig, 1 day on, 3 days off.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's fucking also running into burning buildings, so hats off to him.
Right.
But I literally I had a couple jobs. I would work. I'd get up at 6, actually 5:30, get to the shop 6:30. I'd work till about usually 3:30, it's a union job, and my dad would let me get out a little bit early. I'd work till 2:30, then I'd shoot to the high school. I'd coach wrestling till 5. I'd go home, sometimes not even go home. I'd eat real quick and then go right to the gym till about 9:30 and do that over every day for about 2.5-3 years, and I was fucking burning the candle on both ends, bro.
But I think that work ethic also put you in the position.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're outworking. If you're outworking people at your job, you're outworking people in the gym too. You know what I mean?
But working, we're in Jersey, working in the elements, the heat of the summer, which I didn't mind. I kind of like the hot. But the winters were brutal, bro. Your hands just I'm trying to turn wrenches. I'm like, dude, I can't even fucking move my hands. And I did not like it. I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing it. I'd taught for a couple months too.
You did?
I did.
No shit. Wow.
I was like, I just needed to do something different, so I substitute taught.
What was your major in college?
I was a political science major. I thought I wanted to be an attorney at one time. I took a pre-law or some law class, and the professor was was a fucking cool guy, telling us how to beat cases and shit. I'm like, dude, this is cool. I think I want to be a lawyer. So I'm like, I was undecided at the time. I'm like, we didn't have like a criminal law degree or anything in my college, but political science. I'm like, I could do that. And then they're like, yeah, you got to go 3 more years of college after this, for law school. I'm like, yeah, not for me. Yeah. And then I thought I could maybe wanted to be a cop too. I actually tried to be a cop. I tried out for Edison and Seaside Park. I actually got into Seaside Park, but I turned it down.
They had height requirements, or?
No, I was just too good looking. No, you want to know why? I'll be honest, and I think this, and maybe this is a little taboo, but I remember going and I actually did the physical, and I fucking killed it. I crushed that. I literally broke records at the physical. I crushed everybody in the run, the pull-ups, the push-ups, everything. And they were fucking with me the whole time. They made me wear a Burger King hat and shit, like, oh, this guy's fucking tough, huh? You're the king. You gotta wear a Burger King hat. So whatever, they were fucking with me. I could take it. And then I remember at the interview process, and they're just fucking with me the whole time. And I get it. That's part of the whole thing because they want to see if you're a hothead and you can handle it. But I'm like, I remember walking. I remember like I knew I did well, and I'm walking out. I'm like, I'm not going to be a cop. I can't do this. I just couldn't. Guys, like, I just fucking don't want to do this. And I don't know if that's maybe why cops kind of have that bravado when they get out of the force, is because they're getting fucked with the whole time. So they feel like they got to fuck with people, maybe. I don't know.
They dig into every little aspect.
And I get it. They want to see what you're about and see if you can handle, the people fucking with you on the street. But I was like, yeah, I don't want to be a cop. And right around that time is when I got to UFC.
Roger, kind of same thing. What would you be doing if you were in the fuel business, driving trucks?
So I knew, for me, I knew that college wasn't for me. I knew. I did really, really well in grammar school. Like when I grew up in Maine, you have kindergarten through 8, and then you go right into high school. It's different here. You have middle school here. We don't have middle school in Maine. Well, where I grew up, you didn't anyway. So I was like straight A student in grammar school, and then I went to high school and kind of found that newfound freedom where teachers don't care if you learn. You're like, you're here if you don't want to listen. So I was a jokester. I was a party kid. I was a jock my first couple years, my freshman, sophomore year, and then I wanted a nice car. So my parents said to me, if you want a nice car, you got to quit sports and you got to go to work every day after school and pay for it. So that's what I did. I quit sports. I quit playing baseball, cross country, all that, and I started pumping gas at my dad's gas station to pay for a nice car that I wanted because my parents weren't just going to give it to me. So after graduating high school, I knew I didn't want to go to college. I knew I was going to have a bunch of friends that were going to go to college and they were going to flunk out and, because they were going to be party animals, which is what I was. So my dad had an opportunity. He knew a guy that owned a fleet of ships, fishing boats in Alaska. And he was like, listen, you wanna not go to college? Why don't you go to Alaska and you work on my buddy Jim Salisbury's fishing boat? And I was like, fuck, that sounds like a great opportunity. I'll do it. But I had a girlfriend at the time, and it was about the time my parents were getting a divorce. So it was like a tough time. I was spending a lot of time at my girlfriend's house, and because my family was like falling apart, so I was there all the time. And I guess I didn't realize like that date was quickly approaching, and I'm like all in love, it was like young love, and I'm pretty much living with her at the time. And then boom, all of a sudden it's February of 1993, I think it was, and I flew to Seattle, Washington, got on the boat there, spent about a week in Seattle. We loaded the boat for about a week with all our supplies. Then we went up. It was like a 3 or 4 day cruise through the Inside Passage to Alaska, and then you just sit off the coast of like Dutch Harbor until the fishing season opens. You just sit, and they just like blow a horn, and you're off to the races, and you go fishing. And I fished for 47 days straight never saw land for 47 days. We offloaded onto Japanese tramper boats. We made a product called surimi. I was on a processor, kind of take some of the glory away from it because it wasn't on like a small boat. We had catcher boats. I remember one of them sank. I think it was called the Neokani, sank when I was out there. But anyway, my boat was about, I think it was 296 feet long, if I remember right. It was called the, why can't I think of the name of it? Anyway, long story short, I did that, and I enjoyed it. I liked it. I made great money. I came home, fished for 47, like a month and a half I was out there. And you don't come in, man. You fish from the beginning of the season to the end. And I think I came home, my numbers could be wrong, but a month and a half. And this is in 1993. I think I came home with like $16,000 or $18,000 in like a month and a half. I was like, fuck yeah, I loved it. So I signed up and did another trip. And we fished off the Oregon River for hake. The first season was pollock, and it was roe season. So you make a lot of extra money on the fish eggs, the roe, because the Japanese love it. The next season was hake season off the Oregon River, and I made like half of that, maybe even less than half. And I was like, maybe this is it's not as fucking glorious as what I thought, you know. So I did 2 trips and that was it. I was done. But I would, you know, I grew up in the fuel oil business, which is kind of how I ended up in it. But I could see myself as a fisherman or maybe a cop too. You know, I mean, one of those 2 things. The town I grew up in Maine is, you know, it's all fishermen. It would be tough for me to get into it because if your family isn't into it, it's kind of taboo for you to get into it. But I took the civil service, like you were talking about. Did the civil service test. I had a buddy of mine who was a sheriff down here, Steve. My buddy Steve was a sheriff, and he's like, bro, you got your shit squared away. You're young, you're athletic. You should go take the civil service test. So I went and took it. I didn't score crazy high on it. I think I got in like the 80s, and yeah. So I don't know. The only other thing I ever tried was pole climbing school. And that was, you talk about getting in.
You wanted to always be on a pole.
IBEW. But I was thinking about transitioning because those
What do you
guys.
mean pole climb? What the fuck is a pole climb?
Lineman.
A linesman, okay.
You have to go to pole climbing school to become a lineman. Fucking idiot. So I signed up for it, and you get interviewed, and it's like being interrogated, like you said with the police. They ask you because they just ask you all these crazy questions. 'Cause everybody wants the job, and they want to weed out the riffraff and the people that are trying to get it or whatever. So I just remember them saying, "Oh, you're recently married, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Great." I wasn't even married at the time. I was engaged. Like, "Oh, you got." I know what it was. I was a dad. They're like, "You're a new dad, right?" I was like, "Yeah." They said, "Well, throw that relationship goodbye. In the first year working here, you'll be in Florida. You'll be working storm service there. You'll be in Texas. You can like." They gave me the percentage. It was like 80% of our people that work here end up in divorce or separated or whatever. So I remember walking out of there like, "Yeah, this probably isn't for me."
I think I would be a fireman. You know, Marky's a fireman. Yeah. I just think
great
that's
hours. Yeah,
great hours, and just it's like you're you're in a team. It's like being part of a team, a unit. You know, you got to watch your boys' back. They got to watch your back. I think I could do well there. I mean, but it's dangerous. It is dangerous. You know, everyone's like, "Oh, bro, this guy's got a great." I'm like, "Bro, they're running and fucking burning buildings." You know what I mean? They do deserve the best schedule they can get.
Yeah.
Frankie, win or lose, final fight on your contract. Will you pursue a new contract with the UFC or any other house?
Well, I guess this is gonna come out.
Yeah, because it's gonna air after it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just signed a new contract with the UFC.
Oh,
Yep. So I will finish my career in the UFC.
as you should.
Yeah, I mean it's they've been done right by me, and it's the biggest. The UFC's the NFL, man.
Yeah.
I did want to, it's good to explore your options for sure, but I'm happy I'm finishing my career in the UFC. You know, I grew up in the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
I got in the UFC. I was only 5-0, so I grew up here, and I want to finish here. So I'm happy.
So you can't be inducted into the Hall of Fame until your career is done in the UFC. There's guys that are in the UFC.
I don't know, because BJ's in the Hall of Fame, but he retired and then came back.
Same with Chuck, but Chuck didn't come back to the UFC. He came back with another.
Right, and but like Clay's in the UFC because of one of his fights.
Wait,
in
Clay
the UFC.
Guida?
He's one of his fights in the UFC. They
right.
put a fight in the UFC, so I guess he's considered a Hall of Famer in a sense.
Well, Gustafson is in there too for that.
Right,
Yeah.
John Jones, Gustafson. So yeah. What'd you do today, Raj?
Worked, buddy. I worked. I went, right after work. I left work. I drove up to the girl's house. We went to Ramapo Valley. You ever been there? The
Ramapo Valley?
Ramapo Mountains. It's like the hiking.
I never have, but I've heard of it.
We hiked the trail. It's beautiful up there.
Oh, that was today?
No, that was last night.
Oh.
Drove up there. I think we got to the trail system around maybe 6:30, and then she took me to dinner in Ridgewood. We ate at a...
She took you, huh?
Yeah, she said, "I'll take you to dinner if you drive up here." So we went to a little spot in Ridgewood, a little Persian spot. I forget.
Persian?
Yeah, Persian food. Yeah, it was good, man. It was good.
Kardashians there?
No, they were not. Aren't they Armenian?
I think they're Persian.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Persian's Iranian, right? You know,
good.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, it feels good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger.
Yeah.
Recently divorced after 18 years.
Oh, shit.
Are they trying to get his number?
No, sorry. All pursued by her.
Wait, what?
She was divorced, and it was a dude. This is a dude. He was divorced after 18 years because of his wife wanted it.
Yes.
Right.
How do you get through the mental and the... I'm lost.
Spit it out, bro.
And the honesty. What?
Dishonesty?
And the dishonesty, yes. It's messed up.
Well, I mean, clearly every situation is unique, but I can give you my take on it. You know, my divorce. I didn't want to get divorced. You know, I'm a guy on my word. I gave my word in front of God, in front of my friends, in front of my family. I didn't want it, and this is no blame or shout out to Jenny at all. We get along great now. It's all good.
We know you're scared. We are. Everyone knows. Everyone knows.
She did unleash hell on me once. I don't want that to happen again. But anyway, you know, when I've always said, you know, my fight is up when somebody stops fighting for me. When you have no fight left in you to fight for me, then I don't want to fight for you anymore. So, you know, I fought it right up until I couldn't fight it anymore to keep. It was really more than just Jenny and I. It was an intact family that I wanted to save. I had 2 kids, and I felt like a failure as a dad. That if it didn't work out or whatever, but yeah, I fought right up to the end to save the sanctity of our family, basically. And when it was over and when it was done, I went to counseling for a year. For a year after that, it wasn't because I got divorced and I was so torn up over that. Mine was because I got publicly executed, and you know, that was tough. I guess my pride or my ego was like I had a hard time dealing with that, you know, because I felt like a lot of what was said wasn't true at all. So, you know, I had to go for that. And then the only thing that got me out of that was at some point you got to stop caring about what other people think and just know who you are. And I knew what my kids thought of me and what other people thought of me. So that was my toughest battle. As far as the divorce goes, you know, if someone doesn't want to be with you, you shouldn't want to be with them. You know, it's a two-way street. You can't be with somebody.
What's that guy's name?
Most tough.
Hey,
Why
most
are
tough. Most tough.
Most tough. Why are you going to fight for somebody that doesn't fight for you?
No, most tough. Let me tell you something. Go get yourself some pussy. You'll feel a lot better, bro. You'll feel a lot better.
That wasn't true for me, man. I didn't.
No?
I didn't smash for. God,
Well, that may have been the problem, my friend.
think yeah, could have been.
My point is 18 years. You say don't go into something. I don't think anyone goes into it thinking they're going to fail. 18 years, they were good, I guess, or
No,
15
that's not
years.
what I'm saying. I'm saying she quit, and if she quits and absolutely
she packed it in,
refuses
right.
to work on it at all, and just says nope, that's it, and you try, you're like, let's go to counseling, whatever, and you've given everything. You can only do that so much. You have to pull up your bootstraps and have some pride and take
I don't
care of
think it
yourself.
says that she quit. It said that she was dishonest. Is that quitting, or is that
Well, I mean,
how
she
long?
I thought he said he was getting divorced. He's asking about my divorce.
No. He said no.
Yeah,
After 18 years, they're getting divorced.
Yeah.
How'd you get through it?
18
Time
years,
heals
dude,
all
18
wounds.
years.
Time heals all wounds.
Time
right?
does, but you have to stay
And
busy.
sprinkle a little pussy on it,
Yeah.
and it may even make me feel better.
Oh God.
Time is the great healer, but you have to stay busy during that time because idle. What do they say? Idle time is the devil's playground. It really is because I laid in fucking bed for. I feel like it was like 2 months.
You should do exactly what I just said.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I know. What'd you
I
do, bro?
spar today. Second to last spar for the camp. You know.
I know. You fly out. What's today? You fly out Sunday.
Sunday. So I gotta fly to Sunday. So I'll tell you the rundown. I gotta fly Sunday to Vegas. We gotta go. I gotta take a corona test, get a negative, quarantine for 24 hours. Then we take a charter flight to Abu Dhabi, which is gonna be like
Let me just pause you. Quarantine for 24 hours. Where you cannot leave your hotel room.
correct.
Okay. They literally have someone stand outside the door, make sure you don't leave.
Well, I mean, it's gonna be in a hotel that no one else is in, probably. I imagine.
Right.
And like I don't know. I really.
You
don't,
ain't sprinkling no pussy on nothing.
No. Listen, I'm a one woman man. I'm married man.
Kindergarten.
Yeah.
Kindergarten, bro. Nah, well, I mean, not quite kindergarten. Yeah. But and then we take a charter flight to Abu Dhabi. Get to Abu Dhabi. I need to take I think I'm taking 5 total tests before I fight.
Wow.
Just kind of crazy.
The crazy part is, from what I understand from you, is that if anybody on your team tests positive, you're out, right?
Yes, I think that's what they're saying.
Wow. That's fucking.
It's nerve wracking, man. Like fighting is nerve wracking enough.
Right.
Fighting overseas is nerve wracking enough. Now throw the fucking corona on it. It's like, what the fuck? But I gotta take this chance, right? It just, I look at it like, dude, I fucking been on point this camp. Especially now, it's not like I just train hard. I fucking dieted. I did everything like I'm supposed to, and something that I have no control over could take me out. But again, you can't sweat the stuff you have no control over, right?
Yeah,
So
I agree.
taking my chance, and we'll see how it goes.
That's all you can do, brother.
That's it.
You got to manifest your future, Jesse says. So you got to be positive, think that it won't happen.
Yeah,
manifest it.
I don't know if like Renee gets mad at me too, because like I'm always like I'm the type of guy that says I'm gonna get on a flight. I'm like, this fucking flight's gonna be delayed. It's gonna fucking or I'm gonna get it's gonna be delayed. I'm gonna be late, or something's gonna happen. It's gonna snow. It's gonna get canceled. I'd rather go in with that mentality than saying, oh, it's gonna be a great flight and we're gonna get it right on time. And then when it doesn't happen, you're like, fuck, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Me, I'm like, I think it's better to be like, it's going to be delayed, or it's going to get canceled. Then when it's not delayed, it's not canceled. I'm like, nice. But when it gets delayed and gets canceled, I'm like, see, told you.
I used to do that when I was a kid at Christmas. I'd be like, I'm not going to get shit. Parents aren't. I'd be moping around Christmas Day like, you guys ain't buying me. And then I'd be like super pumped if I got something cool. You know what I mean?
I think that's
'Cause
the
I don't want to be disappointed.
Yeah, I'm that way.
Yep.
I don't know if that's healthy or not, but it's kind of how it goes.
Yep. I don't think I'm ever disappointed. It's hard to disappoint me. It really is. It is. You think different?
What do you mean, disappoint you?
I think that it's. I don't think I have huge, crazy.
What?
Oh, yeah, speak on it. What? Speak on it.
Like standards and stuff?
No, like
Like
if my girl called me up right now, I was like, "We're done. That's it. We're over." I'd probably just be like, "Okay," you know what I mean? Like I don't think that I get.
okay, in relationships and stuff, yes, but
Yeah.
everything else you have a very high. And if
standard. Yeah,
if shit don't happen, it's
No, totally agree with that. Yeah. But I said disappointed.
Bro, you just said you were locked yourself in your fucking room for months.
Yeah, but that was because I got publicly executed. That wasn't over my divorce.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Why? What are you laughing at? What? I do have high standards. I do have expectations and mile mark. Milestones that I want to
You
hit.
said that you don't get disappointed. I think Scott ruined your laundry one night after the club, and you fucking flipped out on him.
He did. I don't even remember that.
Remember that? And then when he left your house, he ran over a light or something, and you got pissed at that too. Then you guys didn't talk for a fucking year or so.
Wow.
All right.
He
well,
ruined your
all right.
laundry, dude. It was on the bed and it fell.
No, he brought a chick.
I don't fuck around his laundry.
There's a little more to that story. He brought a chick back to my house. There's a lot more. Wait, did I just say his last name? Then I'm not gonna tell the story because there's a lot to
You
that
don't
story.
incriminate him.
Yeah, he brought a chick back to my house.
I could always cut that
This
out.
was when he was single. He brought a chick back to my house, and then he left to go get cocaine. And then he came back and he threw everything on my bed on the floor, so it was covered in dog hair because I had a dog that had a dog bed in that room. And then banged the chick, and then
Before the cocaine?
yeah, no, after the cocaine, and then left to go get more cocaine, and he backed over all my fucking driveway lights. So there's a little more to that story.
Listen, he shouldn't be driving on cocaine. I think that's the moral of the story.
I know.
But that was a little disappointed. They didn't talk for a fucking year.
We literally didn't.
That's.
Because
I don't get disappointed.
because of
Yeah.
their-
We
their
talked
legs.
because I called him up and said, "You're an asshole." And then he didn't talk to me.
Yeah, I guess.
He was like, "Fuck, Roger used to live with me. He used to leave hair in the bottom of the shower or something. He's fucking making up all kinds of shit." Yeah.
Oh man, so you lived with roommates quite a bit?
When I first moved to Jersey, I rented a house. First place I ever lived when I moved here, and I didn't know anybody. A kid moved down with me. This kid, Andrew Woodard, we called him Woody. I rented a house in Forked River, so he lived with me for the first year. I knew him from back home. He was younger than me, but he wanted to come down here. He only made it a year, and then he left. He went to Massachusetts after that to work for his uncle. So after that, I moved to Whiting. I moved in with Chris Merlo in Tom's River. I lived with Merlo for about 6 months, and I had that really bad motorcycle accident. Spent like 10 days in the trauma wing. Really bad. That was
That's
the worst.
the one at the Lakers.
Yeah, that was the worst one I ever had. So then I had to move back in with my mom for a short period of time because I was literally like fucking a baby again. And I was bedridden for probably like a month. And she had to like bathe me and shit. I was literally like a baby, bro. So anyway, when I healed up enough, I called up Mike Quigley, who had just got divorced. And I said, "Hey, man," the kid I was riding with when I crashed, I was like, "Hey, you want to rent a room?" So I moved to Whiting for like 3 years. I lived in Whiting with him for like 3 years, and then I moved in with Scott after that. So I had a bunch of roommates, and then I was living with Scott, and I remember thinking like, we make like the same amount of money. I was like, I might as well just buy my own house. So I just bought my own house.
The one we're in now.
The one I'm in now, and when I bought it, I think I bought it in 2003. When I bought it, I didn't have enough money to like go out. I bought it. I literally, let's say I closed on a Thursday. I moved in on a Friday with just like my clothes and a dresser and my bed, from Scott's house. Actually, I think that was Scott's bed. I don't think I had a bed because I remember the first night I ever slept in my house. Maybe I didn't put my bed together. I don't remember. The first night I ever slept in that house, I slept in a sleeping bag in the middle of the living room floor with not an ounce of furniture in it. I remember that. Yeah.
Humble beginnings, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
What about you?
What?
Roommates? Anything?
I mean, no.
College,
I graduated college. Well, yeah, in college I had a roommate. He was from Jersey. Actually, he only lived there. He only made it the first semester, and he left. He went home, and I was like, I do not want a fucking roommate, so I paid extra so I didn't have a roommate.
Mm-hmm.
And then my second year, I lived with this kid Myron. It was supposed to be just me and Myron. It's a this house might have been as big as his room. It was a tiny little house next to the community pool. And he told me, he's like, yeah, my brother's going to stay with us for a little bit. I'm like, all right. So his brother was our roommate that whole year. They had a room. They shared I don't know how the fuck they shared a room. But that's when Renee was in school. So I pretty much she lived with us pretty much anyway. So there was like 4 people in this tiny ass house. And then after that, I lived with Renee pretty much since then. And then I came home from school. We lived in Renee's dad's basement. Me and Renee actually redid the whole basement. It was unfinished. We finished it. We lived in there for about 8-9 months.
I remember that. Yeah.
And Renee broke up with me, kicked me out. I went back home. I was not in the UFC. Was I in the UFC? No, I wasn't in the UFC yet, I don't believe. And but I was working as a plumber. I was in the union. And I was living home, and my parents drive me fucking crazy. I'm like, I need to bought a condo when me and Renee were broken up.
I remember that condo.
Yeah, she was a real
still
estate
own that condo.
I do. She was a real estate agent, and I didn't use her.
Foxton's?
Yes, I didn't use her. Yeah. And I lived there, and then obviously, me and Renee got back together. She moved in with me. I lived there for like 2-3 years, and then we moved. Yeah, I moved like every 3 years, pretty much. Every 4 years.
I feel like you've bought a house in every corner of Tom's River.
Yeah.
Still own half of them. Lou only had a roommate one time, right? When you lived off New Hampshire, right?
Yes.
That was the only time when you were in those apartments?
Chucky.
Oh, God, you got to tell about the upstairs neighbor.
No.
Chucky who?
No. I'm going to edit this shit. Don't matter. You can say whatever you want.
Chucky who? Chucky who was your name?
Chucky.
So, Frankie.
Gookins? No.
Billy. He was friends with Billy Major, too?
I don't know.
Chucky. I forget his last name. Charles something.
So Lou doesn't drink at all. He's gotten drunk once in his entire life on his 22nd birthday. I guess they were up one night, and this was when I think you were single, right?
Yeah.
I think he was single for a brief period of time, and they had an upstairs neighbor that was kind of a hot chick, right? She was a MILF or something, right? If I remember this right.
I guess.
And you and Chucky invited her down.
She had a friend over.
And they were playing.
They both came down.
And you weren't drinking, but Chucky was. Everybody was drinking but you, right?
Everyone but me, correct.
And they started playing. Was it Spin the Bottle?
I don't know. It's like
Truth or
Dare.
Truth or Dare.
And Chucky dares this girl to measure Lou's dong. Motherfucker's got a 9-inch dong on him. A 9-inch dong on him, bro.
Wow.
Bro, the guy can do porn.
Why don't you, man?
That's getting edited out. Edit out.
Next Ron Jeremy, bro.
I remember Chucky and him telling me the story like a couple days later. I'm like, bro, you got a 9-inch dong? Like, what the fuck? No. Yeah.
Whip that thing out and play in public places, bro.
Stop the camera right from here.
On that note.
Yeah.
Well,
onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. It's not that. Don't put that 9-inch dong onwards and upwards.
All right. Did we cover all the? I think we've embarrassed everybody here tonight. Did we cover all the questions?
Yeah, we definitely covered all the questions.
No.
All right. Well, I think we got episode 33 in the bank.
Churdy tree.
And what did we learn today, ladies and gentlemen? We learned that Tripod over here is rocking a massive one.
Oh, man. Lou.
If I say it's enough, you can't edit it out. So you just got a new nickname, too.
Yes. Tripod. Yeah. We don't need a tripod for the camera. We got one behind it.
I'm going to edit the shit out of this. Don't matter. It don't matter.
We've never edited one yet. You can't edit this one.
I have to. I'm sorry.
No. All right, guys. Hey. Champ and the Tramp. Check us out. Share, like, subscribe. Thank you for the questions this week. Enjoy answering them as always. We like to steer away from current times because we live in such a a negative time. Sometimes it's nice just to do a podcast where we don't talk about politics or anything like that. So this one was for you guys. Thank you for the questions. Champ of the Tramp out.
Peace.